Lewis bolted out of the house, his mother's angry screams echoing behind him. His heart pounded in his chest as he raced down the street, tears blurring his vision. He didn't know exactly where he was going, but he knew one thing for sure. He couldn't stay in that house any longer. A few houses down, he spotted a car idling by the curb. Without hesitation, he flung the door open, jumped inside, and locked it. His breath came in gasps as he pressed himself against the seat, trying to disappear. "Lewis, get out of that car now!" His mother's shrill voice cut through the air. "No!" he yelled back. "I won't live in that house anymore." Tears streamed down his face as he clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms. The memories of the past few months, or maybe even years, swirled in his mind like a storm. The shouting, the hitting, the pain. He had tried to endure it, had hoped things would get better. But tonight had been the last straw. His mother stood outside the car, her face contorted with rage and desperation. "I am your mother. Come inside and we can talk." "Leave me alone," Lewis shot back, his voice raw with emotion. His mother pulled out her phone and dialed the police. Within minutes, flashing blue and red lights filled the street, casting eerie shadows on the pavement. Two officers stepped out of the patrol car, their eyes scanning the scene. Lewis's mother ran up to them, frantic. "My son is trying to leave in a stranger's car. I want him out now." One of the officers approached the vehicle and knocked on the window. Lewis hesitated, his fingers trembling over the lock. "Hey, kid, your mom wants you out of the car," the officer said in a firm yet calm voice. Lewis tightened his grip on the door handle. "No," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. His mother's patience snapped. "Officer, this is my son. Do I need permission to take him home?" Before the officer could respond, Lewis turned to face them, his eyes desperate. "She beats me up." The officer's expression changed instantly. He exchanged a glance with his partner before turning back to the mother. "Is that true?" "He's lying," she screeched, shaking her head violently. "I'm his mother. I would never harm him." Lewis's hands trembled as he pulled down the collar of his shirt, revealing dark bruises around his neck. He lifted his sleeve, showing more marks along his arm. The officer inhaled sharply. "Ma'am, please step back." His mother's face drained of color. "You can't be serious. He's my son. I was just trying to discipline him." At that moment, the owner of the car, a man in his late 40s with kind eyes and a strong but gentle presence, stepped forward. "Ma'am, I can't let you take him." "Who are you?" the officer asked, his hand resting near his holster. The man looked at Lewis, then back at the officer. "I'm the one who called social services about her months ago. No one listened. I knew something was wrong. I saw the bruises, the way he flinched when she was near." The officer turned back to Lewis. "Do you know this man?" Lewis hesitated for a second before nodding. "Yes, he lives in the neighborhood. He's the only one who ever asked if I was okay." The officer studied the man carefully. "Are you willing to take responsibility for him?" The man didn't even blink. "Yes." Lewis's eyes widened. "Really?" The officer glanced at his partner before nodding. "Until social services can sort this out, we need to place him in temporary care. If you're volunteering, we'll need to do some paperwork, but for tonight, he's safer with you." Lewis's mother let out a wail, her knees buckling beneath her. "You can't take my son from me. He's all I have." The officer kept his voice steady. "Ma'am, we have to take these allegations seriously. We'll conduct an investigation, and if everything checks out, we'll proceed accordingly. But for now, Lewis isn't safe with you." Tears streaked her face as she shook her head in disbelief. "He's my baby. I raised him." The man placed a gentle hand on Lewis's shoulder and smiled. "Blood makes you related, but love makes you family. You deserve a family, Lewis. A real one." Lewis swallowed hard, his vision blurring once more, but this time, not from fear. It was the first time in years he felt seen. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was certain. He wasn't alone anymore.